Welcome to my YouTube channel. I decided to go on a journey with this, especially using YouTube to document my journey. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight into who I am, because if any of you have followed me for any amount of time, you would have seen that I've transferred and moved around a lot within my career, my job, my description, and who I am. I'm going to give you a little bit of a recap. So I started off especially using YouTube as a photographer. The photography business was a result of me losing weight, completely changing my life because I was unhappy, unhealthy, and I just had no direction, no clarity. I'd always enjoyed photography from my mountain bike and BMX times, which you'll probably see if you flick back in my channel. And the photography then allowed me to get into fitness because I worked with a coach when I got overweight. I then documented some of his journey, and then that kind of started the snowball effect of what ended up being my six-figure photography business. I then moved from the photography because I got to a point where, with my children being around, I had no time. I was constantly flat out. If I didn't keep up that standard, I was, and the level of work that I was having to do, and there wasn't quite enough wiggle room in the finances to put a team on board. And sure, I could have charged more. Sure, I could have changed things around a bit, maybe pull things back a little bit, but actually I wasn't getting the fulfillment out of it that I needed and wanted. Obviously, when you're going through a journey like this and you're trying to create something, you want to have that passion and fulfillment. And for me, from the photography side of things, I've been doing it for so long. I started my photography career back in 2005. For me, that was very much, we're talking now, it's now 2024. It's nearly 20 years of taking photos. And obviously, it was probably a little bit before that when I was starting off. So we are talking 20 years of taking photos. And I still today don't class myself as a photographer. I don't instantly wake up and think I'm a photographer. However, that was the vehicle that got me to the success that I had. And it allowed me to realize quite a lot of things about the people that I worked with. Most of the fitness business owners that I worked with were very, they'd obviously got themselves into phenomenal physiques, like a more resilient mindset, but a lot of them still had a lot of fundamentals about their personality that they were struggling with or not utilizing. When you're a fitness coach and so on, people are attracted to you because of how you look, but now more so than ever, who you are and what you're about. So the reason why I wanted to start this journey off, and you're seeing me actually using my podcast setup here to film this, and I'm probably going to keep it as raw as it is I wanted to show off how people can document their story and journey better so that then people can build a better connection with them. Because as I've now moved into business coaching, I've always been really good at selling without needing to sell. And interestingly enough, I recently tried to push a big sale, and it didn't really come off as well as what I wanted it to. Sure, we got some results off of it, but nowhere near as much as what I wanted. And it taught me a valuable lesson about myself, and also, through the times that I've had recently and changing niche and changing all of this stuff, there has been a lot of movement and change in my life. I needed to be in a place where I took a few more risks again, even though I've got the kids, even though we've got the house to pay for, even though we've got everything else. And I'm going to explain a little bit why in this video. So the photography being a success, it was, and to this day still is, because I'm still getting people booking me even though I don't advertise it. For me, photography, I almost felt like I wasn't anything unless I had the camera in my hand. And although I'm good at photography and I believe I'm far better than a lot of other people, it was the experience and so on that I gave to people that made people come back to me. And I was able to help people make more money in their business without teaching them sales tactics. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a lot of tactics to sales that you can use, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. And I remember growing up in sales and it being very direct. Nowadays, people want to trust the brand. They want to know where things are going, how they communicate, they want to feel in line with all the values of everything, which makes sense because you want to know who you're buying from. You work hard to create this money. You want to make sure that you're using your money right. And the last thing that you want from this is to invest money into somewhere that you don't believe, or, unless you've got so much money that you don't care, which isn't the bulk of people. And so a lot of these coaches would then go down this route of they would look the part and show that instant attraction to wow, they've got a great physique. It's kind of died off a little bit. Don't get me wrong, it still adds a lot of value. It's still part of the brand, but the physique is one part of it. You could look the part, but if you've got a terrible personality, you're never going to go on a date. You're never going to meet the partner of your dreams. You're never going to rise up through the business, you're never going to be able to create the future that you want, because people just won't gel with you unless you go into something where you don't need to have a personality. And that's definitely not the fitness industry. Well, don't get me wrong, you can have no personality and still win because you attract people with no personality. But at the same point, everyone wants to be known for their personality, not just their looks. And so especially with today's like moving landscape, I wanted to showcase to people how I was able to help. Especially last year with the identity unlock, and to give you a little bit of a kind of jump back a little bit, when I stopped the photography, I went into personal development work. And as soon as we helped the person develop, they just wanted to grow their business more. So this is why we've moved into business coaching. But last year's Portugal event that I ran, where it was my first event and we helped people like think bigger, do more, come up with ideas, come up with create more clarity around themselves. We generated just shy of £400,000 between all of the coaches together. So in my first year of business, not only, and especially with a new business, I was able to generate a 6-figure business. That's the second one I've now run, but also at the same time help other coaches make substantially more money. And so there was no sales tactics involved. There was no like big hacks. It was very much about helping the person come out of their shell and get that bit of growth, get that personality out there so that people were attracted to their story, so that then there was more of a lifetime value to the person instead of it just being a weight loss transformation, especially with the fitness people that I worked with. And interestingly enough, when clients would bring me their clients for the group shoots and I was seeing people, I knew instantly each one of their clients what their pain points were, because I'd seen it so many times that I needed to show the coach how they could better connect with the pain points of their ideal client so that they can help them achieve more. And so instead of just attracting a weight loss client, which could be, let's say, losing 5-10 kilos, which is what a lot of people want to do, most people nowadays, if they're going to spend money in it and invest into something, they want to know that it's connected to a bigger purpose, whether it's the career growth, whether it's the family side of things, whether it's the longer life, whether it's, a better lifestyle, so on. People have a desire and a want to especially fit in with their own expectations of themselves. So if they will invest into something, it will be because they feel like that's a good fit for them and their future and where they're going. So it makes a lot of sense that if I can help the coaches guide themselves to see what their clients want and need, as well as the weight loss, which is what they're specializing in, we can help people achieve more. So the reason why I've started this business, and especially this YouTube channel, was because I've always had this vision, and it's never scared me, with the idea that I can make £1 million in a year. Now, that wasn't something that I felt years ago. It certainly wasn't. When I left full-time employment in 2017, my only goal was to make the same amount of money, just work a lot less than what I was working before. But what ended up happening was I tripled my income and found my purpose, which was the best outcome of what I could have hoped for in that situation. And then I started realizing that actually the only limit was myself, and the only limit was the way that I operated and thought. And so with this whole YouTube venture, with everything I'm going to share on here, and I'm just going to try and be as honest as I can, and create almost daily versions of these, and just try and crush it into then deliver as much value, show my vision, show what I achieve, be open and honest with things, just so I can show people that my journey, if I can make it happen, it's not going to be 30 days and I'm suddenly a millionaire, but this is a real genuine attempt at me going from effectively 0 to £1 million. And it's not because I need £1 million. There's not one part of me that's desperate for that cash. There's nothing about my personality that I have to say I made £1 million. However, and this is something that I want to almost try and share with people and try and pass on, is that money should never be something that you should be scared of or something that you should hide away from. I know in the UK it's almost frowned upon to talk about big money and so on, but I want to try and change that a little bit, because it is doable and it is possible. I've seen plenty of people do it. I know plenty of friends and associates that have done it. And I want to see if I can do it. I want to show myself whether I can do it and be relentless enough. And part of the reason why I'm going to do this series and try and stick it out and get through the hard times and edit things and make sure I get content out as much as I can and try and deliver as much value and high-end stuff as I can, is also to show my children what I went through when they were young and built everything up. Now, I have the podcast, which is a Letter to My Children podcast. And the whole point of that is interviewing people to get their insights, that if for whatever reason my life ended up being over before it was too soon, they could listen to that, hear their dad talking to other like-minded people who have been able to achieve success, and hopefully they would carry on my journey and my mission, but also go on their own journey and mission to help more people, do more and achieve more in the world. But I want them to be able to see what I go through and what happens and learn lessons and share all of this stuff, because I know for many people, that's the bit that you're missing and that's the bit that you don't see. And, you know, we're especially geared up to want those dopamine hits or those fast fixes of things. But when you do go on the mission of trying to improve your daily lifestyle, to improve better techniques and habits and systems so that you can achieve those things, and that's what I did with the photography, I know that it's doable. It's achievable. And that's part of the reason why I stopped the photography, is I realized that, sure, I could have come up with a content creation company, which is kind of what we've embedded into the Identity Unlock. But at the same time, I didn't see that I was able to do that with inside of that business. And bearing in mind, it was named Benmark Photography. Everything was about the experience that I gave to people. I needed to recreate that and rebrand that and effectively start from scratch. I'm going to be quite transparent here. Over the last probably 90 days, 120 days, like 3 or 4 months, the business has taken a little bit of a decline, the Identity Unlock business and the photography business. And it's still working, we're still making money, but it's nowhere near where it was. And part of me had allowed that to happen so that I could rebuild things and not have so much pressure on me. But what's ended up happening is now I have a pressure that I need to provide and perform, to be able to keep the roof over our head, to be able to, you know, Dylan keeps asking me about a holiday. I want to be able to provide all those things. And we're in a position where actually now's the chance for me to prove how good I am. So instead of looking at all the pressure that I put on myself to evolve and change, and when you do change from one thing to another, people stop associating themselves with you. And that's what I found out, is that I was the photographer and people needed me for photography. What they got out of me was so much extra that I provided this incredible service. Then when I started being extra and started delivering what I was really good at in terms of helping people overcome their boundaries and to do more, people stopped associating themselves with me because they were still looking for the photographer, or they were looking for effectively someone else that would do the same for what they were paying before, not for this service that now I can do because I know it's worth more. And that was probably one of the biggest things I wasn't prepared for, that I know I still have a lot of connections in the industry and I still do get a lot of work from people in the industry, but a lot of close people close to me, friends and like associates I've worked with for a very long time, have distanced themselves, which I guess is slightly natural, because when someone changes, they don't see it as growth, they see it as change, and you're no longer what fits their mold or what's going to help them get to where they want to get to, which is absolutely fine, because that's okay with me. I've done enough personal development work to actually learn that I'm very comfortable with being misunderstood. And that's happened a hell of a lot on my journey. I am someone who is desperately passionate to help a lot of people. And sometimes I forget about some of the boundaries or perceived perceptions of others, because I'm just so desperate to help more people, because I know how it felt when I was stuck and I couldn't achieve things, and how I wanted to just have someone reach out to me and believe in me. And I think that's one of the best compliments I've ever had, is that people have signed up to me and actually felt like someone believed in them for the first time in their life. One of my biggest lessons is going to be, how do I keep delivering that when this business blows up, which is obviously my vision for it, which is something that then I'm going to have to make sure that I get the best coaches in, that they actually have that similar feeling to me, because that's something that I value highly. My mission is to take the Identity Unlock from effectively 2024, starting off with zero, because it's a new year and so on. And okay, I'm starting this in April, but like, this is just the way the cookies crumbled and the way it's going. But I want to take this point where, like, I've built up a lot of lessons. We did have a 6-figure year last year. Things have slowed down a bit because I've been trying to change things, because actually it fits the mold better of what people wanted. And this is my journey to growing it. So I'm going to commit to making as much YouTube content as possible to showcase this journey off. I'm also going to showcase as much of myself as I can as possible, with the lessons that I learn behind the scenes about me, showing more of my personality, allowing people to see who I am, because I'm not scared of being me. You know, I'm someone who's quite open. I can pretty much talk about whatever you want. I can go from having a real serious conversation to openly talking about sex, to having a laugh, to basically going and being spontaneous. Like, I'm quite open as a book, and that's something that I quite like about myself, and I don't want to hide away from. But also at the same time, I know that to grow the business and achieve these things, I really need to build something with a strong team, a strong vision and a strong mission. So my mission with this is and I'm also going to get better at this content to make sure that I flow with good intention with this stuff. My mission is to grow the Identity Unlocked from 0 to 1 million. My reason why is to leave a legacy and build financial security, and we already have that to some extent, but like even more, so that when my children are around 25, 30, 35, whenever their life gets more serious and they need that thing that I needed when I was going through all this tough time. And it's not like my parents like haven't been phenomenal to us, but I want to be able to, in this time where, let's skip forward, Dylan's now 3, Lila's 1, in 25 years' time, I can give them a lump sum of cash and go, I want you to make the most out of your life with this. This is what I'm giving to you now instead of giving it to you when I die, so that then I actually get to see what they do with it. So my intention is to work super hard to get to that point that when they have children, if they have children, when they need help, I can be the person that's there for them. And I've done all the hard work now. So that's why I'm documenting this journey, but also to showcase to other people who are wanting to grow a business, have similar intentions, want to challenge themselves, and have never been in the environment to do that it is possible. I know that I have a lot of good intention with these things. The podcast kind of jumps in and out, the YouTube side of things, but I'm actually in a perfect place now where things have stripped back a lot. I am in a position where I do have the time to create this content and be intentional with it. And obviously, as part of my business, it's fundamental for me to do that because I want people to connect with me. I want people to learn more about how I think, how I grow, how I help others grow so that they can achieve the same success that I've done and create the financial stability for their family. But also at the same time, be strong enough and resilient enough like I've had to be over the last few months where I have had a lot of personal issues. The business has struggled because of the change and obviously me trying to evolve it and change it and not doing the same thing. The friendship struggles that I've had where I've lost friendships over the fact that I've changed and become someone that I've left who I was and become someone who I wanted to be. And also just like the ever-changing landscape of what business is. Like I want to try and showcase and document as much of that as I can, just because I know in 10, 20 years time to look back at this stuff and see who I was and what I went through will just give me so many lessons and give other people so many lessons. So this is the start of my channel, me like being intentional about it and actually showcasing more content about me and so on. I'm going to try and make sure that they don't go on for 15, 20 minutes every time. I want to make them really insightful and actually interesting. And I've literally got my iPad here with my whole vision of what I'm going to be able to do with it. So this is my start of my YouTube journey. This is my story. This is how I've gone from being an overweight lad who was lost, felt nobody believed in me, felt that I could have achieved more if I just knew more about like how to do it and put myself in the right situation, who knew that there was a better life out there for me that I wasn't, I knew there was something better. I just wasn't in the right circles to do that. But I want to take all of the good traits from who I was as a kid that had a lot of enthusiasm to help other people. One of my school teachers once said, if he only helped himself as much as he helped everyone else, he would win. And I've never forgotten that. But my way of winning is to help everyone else. And I don't know how not to do that. And that's, I think, one of my best traits. And also I want to then showcase to people that they can actually be attracted, especially in the fitness industry, people can be attracted to them, not just by their looks, because the looks is like surface level. Like I know for most people, especially my age now, if you were to get into a new relationship, okay, some of it would be about looks, but it'd be more about the person, their intentions and how they operate, which would mean so much more to you than when you were 20 and you're just looking for someone who's good looking and potentially going to do good things. So I want people to find clients and be attracted to because of their personality and their brand and their style and their work ethic and their vision. And so that's why I'm generating all of this stuff. It's a massive step into the unknown. It's a very long and slow process, as I know with YouTube. But at the same time, this is the only way that I can fundamentally get myself out there in front of lots of people and showcase the journey I'm on. So I hope, and obviously if you're watching this now, like it'd be amazing if you can hit the subscribe button. I'd love to hear about what you would love to know in terms of like my story, my vision, like how I can help you. If you struggle with storytelling, with brand, with being the person, with changing your identity, any of those types of things, please, because obviously this is what the channel is going to be built around, is solving problems and helping you guys win and do more and achieve more. And my way of giving to everyone else is if I just document it and create it and showcase to people like what I can do and how I can do it, that's going to be the best option. So thanks for watching this. I will share another one with you in the next day or two. I'm hoping to make these daily, but we'll have to see how workload goes and obviously how things go moving forward. But my intention is to make at least 4 or 5 of these a week and get them out to you and showcase to you the journey that I go on. And probably a lot more of it's going to be a lot more raw and just to the point. So thanks for watching this video. Hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to sharing more of my journey with you as we grow the Identity Unlock.